Good evening and thank you for joining us. Another step toward a new skate park at the former Dease pool site.
Thunder Bay City Council voted last night to roll forward with more community consultation. There's still no confirmation the skate park will be built, but a more detailed report is set to come from administration in September. Vasilios Bellos reports.
It's a win for the local skateboarding community after council decided to bring Dease Park one step closer to becoming the home of a new skate park in Urban Plaza. It would be located at the former Dease pool site, with council's approval meaning community consultation is the next step. The report heard on Monday was developed in collaboration with the Thunder Bay Skateboard Coalition. Chair John Kelly grew up in the Dease Park neighborhood and explained what a facility like this would mean to youth in the community.
When that pool was gone, we needed a way to get the community back and rally around that neighborhood. I mean, if it's not going to be a pool, it needs to be something else for the youth. I mean, you can put more townhomes, you can put something else in there. Let's make sure that the kids have somewhere safe to go.
Bringing that sense of community spirit. And I really sense that, attending the consultations at McCallion Park School is that sense of like, hey, yeah, we live here. Like, this is our part of town.
The plan is for the skate park at the former Dease pool site to be for less experienced users compared to the big one here at the marina. While council appeared to be on board with the benefits a facility at Dease Park would bring youth in the area and across the city, some councillors, including Mark Bentz, weren't sold on the location.
I think there's 10 residences, some of which are 2 stories tall. You're not going to be able to attenuate the noise for them. My concern is the residences surrounding that and how we're going to ensure that they're not subjected to high levels of noise until 11 p.m. at night if users want to use the skate park.
The current design does include some noise dampening features, including trees and an insulated fence. Councillor Rajni Agarwal had some concerns surrounding the raised sections of the park and how that may limit who can use the facility.
Accessibility, as we all know, is primary, that we have to make it open for everyone. To have a raised section here as the upper section, instead of doing that and spending all this extra money on stair design and then maintenance, maybe look at keeping it flat.
The report due back in September will look at consultation results, cost estimates, and possible traffic calming measures on Dease Street. If all goes smoothly, shovels could be in the ground as early as next year. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
It was also a big night in council chambers for City Treasurer Linda Evans, who took part in her final council meeting. Evans announced in December that she'll retire at the end of February.
Thank you for your support and friendship over the years. Thank you, Chair.
Evans has served as the City Treasurer and General Manager of Corporate Services and Long-Term Care since 2017. During that time, she helped Council navigate through 7 budgets. Evans spoke during last night's meeting, thanking all those who've helped her along the way.
You're only as good as the people around you. And I have been so fortunate and blessed to be surrounded by and supported by highly skilled and dedicated people that have the best interests of the corporation and, more importantly, the citizens of Thunder Bay top of mind.
The city has yet to name Evans' permanent replacement, but Director of Financial Services Emma Westover will take on the role in an acting capacity.
Residents walked the streets on the city's south side today to remember missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people in Canada. Today marked the 16th annual Valentine's Day Memorial Walk. Jess Clement was there.
Memorial walks take place across the country every Valentine's Day, and here in Thunder Bay, over 100 people came out to City Hall to remember, grieve, and show their support. This year, walkers also wanted to acknowledge and remember the missing and murdered Indigenous men and boys throughout Canada. Serena Dykstra, the coordinator of the Aboriginal Community Advocacy Program at Confederation College, says it's bittersweet seeing everyone who came out.
Many people come out to support and are allies, and those people are important, but many people come because they've been affected and they knew a loved one or know loved ones that are still missing or have recently been murdered or lost, and it's sad to see the number of people that it still continues to affect, even though we've been talking about it for a long time, that it still continues to happen.
The walk was first organized by Sharon Johnson, who lost her sister 31 years ago. Johnson attended a walk in a different community this year. However, local residents still banded together to honor those who went missing. College professor Amber Antonison says it's important for the community to continue having this event.
This walk also happens on Turtle Island on today, right? So I think it's important for this community here of Thunder Bay because we are plagued with missing and murdered Indigenous people on a regular basis. And it's important to have our community know what happens and to remember those, but also to bring that awareness to prevent.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Thunder Bay Police say they've received an overwhelming number of local complaints about the so-called grandparent scam. Fraudsters, typically targeting seniors, impersonate a grandchild of the victim over the phone, saying they need money to escape legal or civil consequences. The scammers may even know personal details. The best way to avoid being victimized is to hang up the phone and contact that family member independently to verify the story. Police are asking people to share details of the scam with vulnerable loved ones.
A final farewell today for former Mississauga Mayor Hazel McCallion. A state funeral was held on what would have been her 102nd birthday. Sean Leathong has more.
A scene of respect, a funeral of the highest honor, a homecoming for Hazel McCallion. On what would have been her 102nd birthday, McCallion was remembered as a leader like none other.
Very determined, very hardworking, no nonsense, and successful.
You were never in doubt as to where the mayor stood on any issue.
Mayor of Mississauga for 36 years, she was called the matriarch of her city, always influential.
The last time we spoke, she told me how proud she was of my council.
With that influence stretching farther than her city, a presence felt at all levels, right up to a recent talk with the Prime Minister.
She told me I had to keep pushing hard for Canadian jobs and workers during President Biden's upcoming visit to Canada, and of course I said I would. It was impressive that she was still working hard herself and always putting people first.
Her influence most evident through an emotional Premier Doug Ford, who rushed to be at McCallion's side before it was too late.
I took her hand and offered her as much comfort as I could. I told her, I love you, Hazel.
Earlier in the day, they lined up by the thousands to enter the Paramount Fine Food Center.
Hazel, ma'am, is like a mom to me.
It's been a wonderful life she lived.
As leaders were eager to tell stories about McCallion, like MP and former Ontario Finance Minister Charles Sousa, who once was with McCallion in Europe.
And then some guy comes up in a big stretch limousine, and he was the mayor of the town. And Hazel goes, how big's your town? Oh, it's 100,000 people or something to that effect. He goes, I got 1 million people. I drive my own car.
Or Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown talking about a women's hockey tournament in his city.
She would call me and say, you need to call this team. They're having a problem getting ice. I'm like, here's someone who's 101, retired for literally years, and she was getting that involved just to help.
A passionate advocate for women's sports, friends reminding about McCallion's work to make women's hockey an Olympic sport.
We didn't have the money, we had the enthusiasm, and we had Hazel's voice. And when Hazel spoke, people listened.
And listen they did. On her final trip, like in her life, Hazel McCallion commanding the respect and the admiration of a city, a province, a nation.
That was CTV's Sean Leathong reporting there. A local Syrian man is concerned for his family and friends back home in the wake of the recent 7.8 magnitude earthquake that's killed more than 40,000 people, 5,000 in Syria and 35,000 in southern Turkey.
They felt something they have never felt in this 10 years of war, as she explained. Like, that was the hardest feeling they've ever felt.
Ahmed Hafez is originally from Syria, and his family of 5 still lives there. He was in shock after learning of the massive earthquake. Hafez says what worried him most was the fact that he couldn't contact any of his family members for hours. Finally, he did get a hold of his mother. She was with his father and brother, and they had to drop everything and run outside to safety. He then managed to get in contact with his 2 sisters. One of them noted the building next to her had collapsed, but fortunately they're both safe as well. Hafez says he's very relieved his family is safe and sound, but some of his friends lost everything in the quake.
They lost their house. They lost their belongings in 1 minute. You lost everything. So I can't say that I was fully relieved because I have some other people who means to me. At the same time, they were very hardly affected.
Hafez says most of his family has been able to return home, but one of his sisters is still staying with relatives as the Syrian government is warning the cracks in her building make it unsafe to enter. Hafez says any donations help, as many are still without a home and have lost family and friends. The Red Cross of Canada is accepting donations to provide that emergency relief.
Mattawa First Nations management has made a $20,000 contribution to the underground gym and youth center. The money supports ongoing youth programming and some upcoming renovation projects at the facility. Mitchell Ringos has more.
Handing over the donation to underground gym founder Peter Panetta was Mattawa CEO David Paul Achny-Penescum, who says the gym has invested in members of the Mattawa community who live in Thunder Bay for over 20 years. He says they wanted to give back to the organization that has made their members feel welcomed and supported in the community. And even though $20,000 is a large donation, Achny-Penescum says the gym needs more, and he made a call to action for others.
We cannot just rely on other organizations to help our people. We got to do it ourselves too. And that's why we encouraging other Indigenous organizations, First Nation organizations here in the city, come on and help out as well.
Panetta was welcoming to the idea of more funding and thankful for the $20,000, as the underground gym does not have core funding, meaning they rely on donations like this. Panetta says the money will be put towards new programming and future plans, including renovations of the second floor. But he says this announcement is about more than just funding.
I'm so happy that we have connected. And I think this is not just about money. I really believe that David, Paul, and I can make more happen for the children. Together, we can make a lot more happen for the children. I mean, you know, it's a partnership that I think works well.
And Panetta says around 90% of his clients are Indigenous, with roughly 25% of them being Mattawa members. We talked to one parent who regularly brings her children to the center, as she said this funding is very encouraging for the future.
I think that's be very beneficial for all the attendees of the underground gym. There's so much possibilities. It opens up so much options for the gym to expand their services to all the children and youth who utilize them.
Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Ecosuperior is making some changes at the top. The local environmental group, which focuses on climate change initiatives, has just appointed 2 longtime staffers to serve as co-executive directors. Aaron Moyer and Ashley Preem will take over as leaders of the nonprofit organization. They replace Sue Hamill, who accepted a position in the conservation field after 3 years in the top role. Preem has been with Ecosuperior since its inception in 1995 and says she's determined to deliver on its mission to build a healthy future for people and the planet. Moyer has been in the environmental education field for 20 years and strongly believes in the organization's new partnered leadership approach.
We're really excited about the new model and feeling like it will bring a lot more sustainability to both the role and our organization. And being that, our combined experience will have a really great benefit on how we can drive the organization as well. We share a lot of experience, and doing this as a partnership really does make us a stronger organization.
We're hoping to continue the quality service that we've been providing for our funders and our partners in the past. We still want to continue to be a role model for sustainability, creating a healthy future for people and the planet, and also creating a really positive and healthy workplace for our staff.
Moyer and Preem will officially assume their new positions on Thursday.
Many Thunder Bay residents have been enjoying the record warm temperatures over the past few days, but local hockey pickup players probably aren't feeling the same way. City Parks officials announced today all outdoor boarded rinks have been temporarily closed. The above-zero temperatures have caused ice conditions to significantly deteriorate. As a result, the lights will be turned off, change rooms will be closed, and residents are asked to stay off the ice surfaces. City Parks manager Corey Halverson says the ice is extremely soft, and in some areas it's completely melted. He points out that the forecast shows temperatures dropping starting tomorrow, and if that holds true, the city hopes to have the rinks back open by the weekend. The skating rink at Prince Arthur's Landing is not impacted by the closures due to its underground refrigeration system.